Guys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's BTC Gambler here. Listen, I hope you're all well. I've had lots of requests about people asking me how they can participate in Alphaverse as well. Rather than you watching through loads and loads of video that you may or may not be interested in, you may only be interested in this video after you understand that there's an opportunity that you could come and join me too. So let's get the very basics out of the way. Alphaverse, I'm making freely available to everybody. You know, I'm not charging for Alphaverse. It's completely free. You guys can copy what I'm doing, and I want you to copy what I'm doing. So Alphaverse is like 2 years in the making. So I'm going to give you a quick tour of what Alphaverse is, what it does, how it works, and then I'm going to explain how you can come take part in it as well. I'm going to go through this as quickly as I possibly can, but you've got to think that Alphaverse is like it's an automation tool where you can handle hundreds, if not thousands, of accounts. And the idea being is rather than play one bot in isolation, you can play hundreds, like I said, if not thousands of bots at the same time. When I started this journey sort of a few years back, I was using DiceBot, Sengetti's DiceBot, and then Stake broke all that, and then there was a new version of the DiceBot. What I used to do was to have multiple virtual machines all running DiceBot, and then I discovered this thing called the DiceBot glitch. And if you don't know what the DiceBot glitch is, it's not actually a glitch, it's actually a feature of the software. So the DiceBot itself is so dumb, so stupid, that it would attempt to do bets that it's unable to do. So for example, if you're running a martingale type of betting strategy and you reach a point where basically you cannot make enough next bet because you don't have enough funds, it repeatedly tries the bet over and over again, and because it's all done using API, the casino just returns an error code saying that there's not enough funds in the balance to do the next bet, and it will perpetually try that same bet over and over again. What I realized is, hey, if I left that running and then I top some money back into that account while it's still trying that repeated bet over and over again, when the balance is eventually realised, it will make that next bet. And because we're using a form of martingale that will always recover all losses prior to the previous bet, all it needs to do is hit one win and then you've got your money back. Now when I discovered that, what I call a glitch, which is not a glitch, I immediately saw the potential in that, and I really went to town on building out as many bots as I possibly can, and then run this juggling act between shifting funds between accounts. Yeah, to put it bluntly, it was not fun at all. You know, it was a great idea on paper, but running that, and I suspect there's many of you out there that who come to my videos might be on that same journey. But I'm a couple of years ahead of you guys. Alphaverse was thinking, could I automate that? Could I actually, instead of me shifting funds around, could I fully automate it? And that's what basically Alphaverse has successfully achieved. There are a number of components that make it Alphaverse, and I'm going to break it down into very simplistic terms to begin with. Each one of these bots is a unique account. Each one of these bots runs in its own virtual machine, and in order to be as efficient as possible, that is running on Linux. So that's the most lightweight operating system that I could find, and it's running on Ubuntu Linux. Now what you're not seeing here, well you kind of are, is the server. There is a separate server that sits here that is constantly being updated by each of the clients in the client software that's running in its own screen of the status of each account. And when it detects a bus, the server knows about every client, and we have this whole idea of a recovery pot. And if I show you down here, a recovery pot is green, and what it will do, it will issue instructions to that client to tip funds automatically should it detect a bust. So this is me, instead of me doing it all manually, it is now fully all automated. And we added a lot of neat features within Alphaverse just to make it easy to use. You know, the design of Alphaverse, the way it looks, is out of functionality, and there was no design consideration behind it. It's just purely out of functional use. So I've got mine up to 146 accounts, and I plan to scale that up even more. I'll just explain the layout of this. Is, you know, this main section, which is what we're looking at here, will basically show every row is an account, and it will have the account name, what its VIP level is, and that's an important thing to know, because if you're playing this, you will want to know when it goes up a level. So when it goes up a level, this would change from white text to green text, so you know you can go in there and just collect that bonus at that egg when it goes green. The balance is obviously what it is. It tells you what the current balance is, and the vault tells you how much is in the vault, and we use the vault very frequently. Here it tells its current status, and this is the number of bets per hour per bot. Now at the moment it's very low because I've literally only started it 13 minutes ago. These get on average sort of between 9 to 10,000 bets an hour. This counts the number of times the bot has bust, and this currently is like the version number of the code that I'm running. So I'm on version 10. So if you don't know what it is, go back in my previous video. You'll see, yeah, there's a video dedicated just to version 10. This shows how much current profit I'm making, how much I've wagered, what the current bet size is. This is showing the current streak. When it's negative, it's loss, and obviously when it's positive, it's a win. And then we're also keeping a track of what is the maximum loss streak we've seen. The IP address is very important because every account that runs on here has to have a unique IP address. It's been actually hard coded into Alphaverse that it won't allow duplicate IPs. However you want to manage that, I manage mine using VPNs. Yeah, there are various ways of managing that. And if it does detect a duplicate, it would automatically stop the duplicate accounts. It would pause the bot. You will not be able to run it. This round time trip, this RT, this is counting in milliseconds. Not how long does it take to ping a server, but it's doing a full API request. So if it's the casino's doing something funky like rate limiting you, I'll be able to see straight away. And this time tells me the last time it made a bet. And if this gets above, I think it's 5 minutes, it will actually go red. So if there's something stopped for some reason, it will actually go red. And the uptime is pretty evident. It's telling me what the uptime is, and that really is the main bulk of that section here. Now each of them have individual controls, so some neat features here. So one here is we can pause the betting. Who's heard of pause betting? You know, pause betting is great because, yeah, you just want to pause things for a little bit. You want to do things, and you click it again to restart it. Okay, and the betting will continue. This one button here is never really used. It stops the dice bot. I never use that. I may well change this going forward. And this one here will restart the dice bot. Okay, so it will always put you back to your start balance. And down the bottom right here, we have a couple of controls where we can shift funds around. So I can tip any amount of money to any player, and I can send the vault to any player that I choose. Embedded within Alphaverse is a JavaScript version of Google Authenticator. So this means that I can actually code the 2FA. So when you tip or when you withdraw from the vault, it requests 2FA code. So that's all built already within Alphaverse. The 2FA function is automated. And there are basically controls, and that represents each line. So, and I've got 146 there. There's an account there, and there's 146 in play. Now at the top, we've got our global stats, and the global stats will tell me what my current bankroll is in total. How much have I got in play? This will tell me globally what my overall profit is. And this will tell me globally how many bets an hour I'm getting. And globally it will tell me how much I've wagered over the duration and the time period. So 17 minutes, you know, doesn't sound a lot, guys. Doesn't sound a lot, but it all adds up and it all compounds. You only need to go back and look at my previous videos to see, you know, when you're up there at 1.4 million bets per hour, you don't need to make much profit. 1.4 million bets an hour, making a tiny amount of profit is minuscule Guys, I got all the boring shit out of the way, okay? Because the bit that I'm sure that you're most interested in is how you can participate in Alphaverse. And I'm going to just jump straight into this. First and foremost, recognize Alphaverse is not for everybody, okay? It's not. I would actually argue, if you don't have very much money, don't play this. And the reason being is because the only way you're really going to make money on the casinos is if you've got money to buy yourself out of difficult situations. If you don't, I would be very afraid for you. I'd be very afraid that you will basically lose your money. And it's the very last thing in this world that I want, is to see you guys lose money. I want you to say, but I made loads and loads of money out of this. This is like, you changed my life. And that would make me the happiest man in the world, okay? And I don't want... I've said before, I'm not a fan of casinos. I'm not a fan of gambling. There are many people that I've taken out of gambling. First and foremost, recognise this isn't for everybody, and it's also technically very challenging to set up. For those that have attempted it, they will know what I'm talking about. Setting up hypervisors, networking, Linux, JavaScript, Bash scripting requires a certain mindset and mentality. You know, I did say in a couple of videos back that I was looking to offer hosting services, and that is still on my radar, but I'm asking you guys to be patient with me because that's a huge amount of work. One problem that I've got with hosting is I have to have serious consideration around security. You know, do I feel comfortable running Alphaverse for other users on my servers in my data center with your funds on it? What if something was to happen? I would be like target number one to say, hey, you've stole my money. And I just there's a bit of me that feels a little bit uncomfortable being in possession of other people's money. And the second most important point I want to point out, and you need to fully understand this, Alphaverse is free. Okay, I don't charge it anything for the software, but it's taken 2 years plus to develop, and at great expense to myself. Not only for developers and graphics artists and other bits and pieces, but also me losing money because I haven't quite got it right. Learning to drive Alphaverse is a bit like, yes, you learn to drive, but then suddenly you're given the keys for, you know, a mile-long truck that you've got to learn to drive. You know, you have to think very, very differently. When you're dealing with 1.4 million bets per hour, those very rare extreme events that almost seem impossible come along very, very, very frequently. So you have to adjust your betting accordingly. Now, in order for me to make Alphaverse free to everybody, in order for the Alphaverse to work for me, I don't charge a license fee for the software, but every bot that you run has to have Mr. BTC Gambler in the welcome offer. Now, there is an advantage for you to use a Mr. BTC Gambler in the welcome offer because I've negotiated with the affiliate manager. Any account that has Mr. BTC Gambler in the welcome offer gets not just any old rake back. They get rake back on their account from day one as if it was at gold level VIP. So that would save you needing to wager $250,000. So there is an advantage for you, but there is actually hard coded within the client that acts as the proxy to check to see whether Mr. BTC Gambler is in the welcome offer, and if it is, it runs, and if it doesn't, the bot won't run. So that's, in that way, I'm getting a casino to pay for the licensing for the software, and you don't have to pay for it for yourself. So if you try this and it doesn't quite work for you or whatever, you haven't lost any money. You have not paid for any software. I only make money from this if you guys actually use it. So it's not in my interest to give you dull advice. It's in my interest to give you good advice, and good advice where you make money. Because if you're making money, I'm making money from the affiliate funds. Does that make sense? It's not greed. It's the most logical and sensible way to license it. And don't think it's a load of money, guys, because the affiliate funds is so tiny. You know, when I'm promoting games where it's got 1 or 2% house edge, yeah, it's like really tiny amounts of money. But the idea being is I get loads of you in this, and it only becomes really interesting if there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people using Alphaverse. I've waffled on too much already. I have a danger of waffling on. Let's get to the meats and gravy. If you want to come and join Alphaverse, there is only one way to do it. So in the pinned message, there will be a link to my Discord server. You come and join me, and you can come and join Discord for free. There's no charge for it, and yeah, come and join me. But you'll only join with a very small subsection of actually what is in Discord, and so you'll probably see access to general chat. And in general chat, if you make your intentions known that you're interested in joining Alphaverse journey, let it be known. Let it be known, and then the moderators will come along and put you in an appropriate group. There's a specialist channel in there dedicated for Alphaverse intent users, people that were interested in Alphaverse. But you can only gain access to that if you're VIP. You have to be a VIP to gain access to that channel. And the only way that you can become a VIP within my Discord server is to answer 8 questions. And those 8 questions have been very particularly geared so that I know that you have the skills and the knowledge and understanding to be able to do what I'm doing. And there are 8 particular questions which I'm not going to mention in this video, but when you join, there's like a welcome message. And that welcome message will give you a bunch of videos to watch and tutorials to watch at your own pace. And providing you watch all those videos, you'll be able to easily answer the 8 questions. And those 8 questions, they're all answered in those videos. And providing you answer those, you open up a VIP application in Discord, it will give you 8 questions. And when you can answer those 8 questions, respond back to them, and then you get VIP, and then all of the rest of Discord is open up to you. Okay, and then make your intentions known. And then once you've got the VIP access, you get access to tutorials. I do lots of tutorials, guys. Most of my videos are private, and they're only available in my Discord server. So, and there are 3 particular videos once you become a VIP that explain setting up Alphaverse, the basics, setting up Alphaverse, the build out process, and then part 3 is how to run Alphaverse. That starts your journey, and in there that explains how you do everything, and that is the only route, guys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, how you're going to gain access to Alphaverse. And the software, because I'm making it clear, Alphaverse is not open source. It's not freeware. And there is a license agreement that goes with it. And it's not onerous, it's not scary, it's just very basic. I'm just protecting my own intellectual property. So we both sign a legally binding contract in your jurisdiction saying that you can't share the software, you can't change it, you can't dispute it. It's for you and you only. So just there, because so much work went into Alphaverse. I need to protect my own interests here. So they're all the things. So that may have put most people off already. But there'll be a few hardened people out there who are really serious and really want to do this. If you look at Mr. BTC Gambler in the various YouTube channels I've had, from the band channel to the new channel to the purchase channel, I've got videos all over the place. There will be a common theme throughout all of my videos, and that common theme is like, I want to be free. I want to be free. I want to innovate. I want to seize the moment. I don't want to be bogged down to a 9-to-5 job. If I could find a way to perpetually generate residual income through systems like Alphaverse, then this opens up a whole new world of freedom. And that's what Alphaverse is all about. It's about being free. I hope that helps you. If you're interested in Alphaverse, I hope I made that very clear. And I look forward to hearing from you. And remember, please click that like button and subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe, because this is a brand new YouTube channel and I really need to get my subscribers up. So please hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful. And if you like this video, please smash that like button, because it's those things actually mean a lot to me, because I want this message spread far and wide, and the only way that I can do that is by making sure the YouTube algorithm picks up. And every time you click that like button, guys, that makes a huge difference. Every time you subscribe, that, yeah, it helps. Okay, please subscribe, please smash that like button, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Actually, I just brought you back because we hit a bust. And yeah, you can see Alphaverse in action. It automatically tipped over. I didn't need to do nothing. Alphaverse automatically picks it up and recovers it. And it's, where did it go? There we go. It recovered. It went to -18, and then it put the vault back into it. Put the recovery pack back into its vault. That is Alphaverse. Right. I'm looking forward to hear from you.